Five Nights at Freddy's has thousands of fan games. At the beginning of this year, a specific fan game called Forgotten at Fredbears fully released, and it took YouTube by storm. Upon giving it a try, I can safely say that this is the most tense FNAF fan game I've played in a while. Welcome to the secondary channel, and without wasting more time, let's dive into the story. The game begins vague, with a phone call on November 6th of 1983 between John and William Afton, in which William hires John to be the night guard of the restaurant. It then cuts to Henry, the other owner of Fredbear's family diner, who promises to avenge his daughter. And without much being said, the first minigame begins. It's like the classic minigame from Fnaf 4. We play as Evan, the crying child, and Afton's son, 5 weeks before our birthday party. At that party, there's bullies who end up peeking on and locking Charlotte, Henry's daughter, outside the building, where then Heaven follows and witnesses his own dad squad wiping Charlotte. Thankfully, Heaven is a smart kid, and he goes immediately inside and tells Henry what just happened, and so we begin. As always, the first night is never usually that bad, as Markiplier once said. Here, we learn the ropes of the game, and we realize how beautiful it is. I mean, just look at it. And look at these two figurines on top of the computer. I love them. And if somebody steals this, I'm gonna kill everybody in this room, and then myself. Okay, maybe a little too much. I swear, I'm not gonna glaze this game like I did on the iceberg, that you should definitely watch after this video. On the phone, we meet Joey and Joem, two previous night guards who, after getting too curious, ended up being put on the day shift. They tell us more about the lore of the pizzeria, and how Henry's daughter's death has affected him to the point that he locked himself in the pizzeria's basement, doing something that we don't know. William is supposed to be taking care of the night shift. However, Henry doesn't know that William called John to do that for him. Here we meet the troublemakers. For the first night, we only have to worry about Bonnie and Puppet. Something that I loved about this game was how different the mechanics were from other games, and how addicting the nights get. Bonnie will make his way to your office and appear on the left door. When he pops his head inside, we have to go to the door and force it shut by hitting skill checks. And for last, we have Puppet. We have to use the cameras to keep it away from our office, which every single one of the cameras had a limited music box. We especially had to be careful with this mechanic on later nights, because once it's gone from one of the cameras, you won't get it back until you finish the night. If we fail to do so, it will come inside our office, and the alarm will sound off, causing every animatronic in the building to come and claim their prize. Every night is divided in two parts. Until 3 AM, we had to deal with the animatronics in our office. But after 3, we had to do specific tasks around the restaurant, with the first one being repairing the vents. In this task, we have 4 vents to fix, with only one of them having a door. Obviously, we're not alone. In here, we face Mangle and Balloon Boy. Despite seeming somewhat hard, it's very simple. The tablet tells you from which direction they're coming from and how close they are. If you hear Balloon Boy, shine your flashlight at him. But if the noise is coming from the vent with a door, that's Mangle. Don't shine your light and hold the vent shut. Once she backs off, we can resume. After this task is complete, we see another cutscene which proves what we were afraid of. Henry was programming the animatronics to kill the night guard, which is understandable due to what we know, but William is not the security guard. We are. That explains why we're being attacked. With this, we begin our second night, which only adds Balloon Boy. He will wander around the building and eventually go into the vents that will lead to our office. When he shows up,
send him back to hell where he came from.
Close the vent. The phone call simply tells us about the new restaurant that is going to open at the end of this year. Henry is still missing, and both employees are starting to get worried. The animatronics get more active, which gave me a lot of time to realize that keeping Puppet stuck in one single camera wasn't going to work for long. I'll have to make a plan eventually. Despite that, this night is a piece of cake. The task for the second night was to do maintenance on Fredbear that was tampered with by someone. Fredbear is one of the most intimidating animatronics I've seen in a while, and doesn't help the fact that we have to get close to it, and that I have the height of a Doritos bag. This task is easy. We have to do what Joey is telling us to do slowly, be it remove his head, eyes, thorax, etc. And in the end, we had to run a diagnostic. I would have loved for this task to be harder, like a second animatronic in the room, especially for the last part, like hold the button if he's tweaking stop, but that might just be me. After this, our shift is complete and the new minigame begins. This time, Evan wakes up in his room and he has a conversation with his Fredbear plushie.
He's home again. Did you hear the door, Evan? You saw her, didn't she? Charlie bleeding.
I didn't mean to see. I just wanted to check up on her.
Too late. Do you know what happened to your sister, Evan?
She's at mom's. She's just visiting.
No, she's not. Do you really think you're safe here with him? Lie still tonight, don't speak, or next time he will open the door.
Evan is rightfully affected and scared of what his dad did, and is trying to forget despite it being unforgettable. But it all ends with the plushie saying,
You can't let him get away with this, Evan. You remember, and he can't know that.
This is where things heat up. Night 3 starts with what we were expecting. A new animatronic, this time being Foxy. Foxy during the night will try to get away from his stage and kill you. If we see that he's about to run, close the curtains and that will reset him. However, we can't keep them closed for long or else it will mess with his sensors, force them open and kill you. Every single animatronic is simple on their own. The problem comes when two animatronics with different mechanics attack at the same time, but that would be just unfortunate. On this night's phone call, something's off.
Joe! Fredbear's Pizza opening up later this year. Joe, I said that's enough! We're not here to talk about that! Stick to the script!
Joe M seemed either super stressed or on edge for some reason. We can also hear that the maintenance we did on the previous night was due to Henry having tampered with Fredbear to be able to control him remotely. I kind of understand Joe M, especially after reading the line, "Or do you want him to end up like the others?" heavily implying to previous night guards that ended up dying. But man, I hate this guy, and it's only about to get worse. With things picking up the pace, I realized that I needed a plan to survive later nights. So I formed the following. I'll drain the music on the prize corner first, and after that, I'll move the puppet to Kid's Cove, where Foxy is, where then I could keep an eye out for both. After trying it, with this plan in mind, I was ready. And we're done, yeah? This is gonna be painful eventually. Like, we're only on night 3 and we're already struggling. After the third night, we're given the task of restocking the shelves according to Joe M, while also keeping an eye out for Fredbear and Bonnie, who were already lurking nearby. Something that bothered me on this task is that our security guard has the intelligence of a Cheeto. Every time we pick up an item, we end up slamming the door at full force. Like, bro, please. If Bonnie shows up, we'll have to shine a flashlight in his face. And if it is Fredbear, we'll have to turn off the light and stay perfectly still. After completing this task, we get another cutscene.
I don't care. Take care of Joey. He's gonna get us all in trouble.
And for now, Joey is nowhere to be seen. On night 4, we're left with only Joe M to help us out, and now, this is the moment where I got a little taste of what night 5 and 2020 mode was gonna be like. Every single animatronic is now active, with Fredbear being the last. He will walk around the whole building, and once he appears in your office, we'll have to stop everything, stand perfectly still, and look at him in the eyes. And that means putting your mouse in his face. I had to learn it the hard way. Yeah, I'm so screwed. I did not move. Despite all of them being active, it was still very manageable. And now, we have one of the coolest tasks of the entire game. But first, the phone call. We unfortunately hear Joey's voice for the last time. Joe, like a G, ends up spilling the beans and tells us that the puppet knows about secrets that people wanted buried. He had left us a note with questions that would tell us what exactly we needed to know. In this task, we would have to ask these questions to the puppet, who would answer us back with lore pieces. But it wasn't that easy. As we ask questions, the puppet becomes increasingly more unstable. When it starts shaking, we would have to wind up the music box to calm her down. In the same room we have Foxy, who walks around the room. If he's acting normally, we don't have to do anything, but if he's also tweaking, we have to use the spring lock override, which activates every spring lock mechanism inside the animatronics within a 100-foot radius of the device. And upon finishing, the puppet gives John the keys to the basement. Night 5 starts raw. No phone call, no Joe M, and 40 seconds of silence. I don't need to say that they were more aggressive during this night, and it just made me realize how grateful I was for even having a strategy to begin with. Even a toddler could do it, but that's besides the point. And after finishing, we have our last task, facing the unknown monsters in the basement.
These machines were meant to be the future, William. The start of something new. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A place where children can laugh again. A place where you and I could have built something good.
We are now in what I think is the tensest part in this game. In our office, we have a computer and 4 halls that lead us to rooms containing the new animatronics. To our left we have Bonnie, in front of us we have Chica, to our right we have Foxy, and behind us is Freddy. And oh my god, they look so huggable. Chef's kiss, honestly. Every single room has different tasks to do and different ways of avoiding the prototypes. In Bonnie's room, we have to cut the wires in a sequence that is slowly revealed to us while Bonnie tries to make us float. We have to shine our flashlight on his face to make him back off. In Chica's room, we have to activate the switches in order while Chica tries to get in through a door. In Foxy's room, we have to crank a lever while Foxy tries to open the curtains. If the cranking stops, he's opening the curtains. Close them. Lastly, we have Freddy's room. In it, we have to hold the lever down to fill a battery. When Freddy's in the room, we have to stop, look at him in the eyes, and not move a muscle. Pretty simple, right? The problem with this task is that there's no checkpoints. We have to do this flawlessly. I almost finished this on the first try, but upon returning to my office, I got jumped by Foxy, which was so But that leads us to the last thing we need to look out for. Even after completing their tasks, the animatronics can still walk to our office and try to kill us. And when they do, hide under the table. After each task, we had to deactivate them by typing a specific code for each one of them. To resume every single cutscene that it shows, it simply tells us that these prototypes were solely made to take down William. But after all of that, John walks out of the basement and gets killed by William. This then shows us our last minigame. It's Heaven's body. Henry eventually shows up after being missing for a while, and says that he needs to talk with William. Both leave to talk alone in a room, and Heaven, as a curious child, follows. Eventually one of the bullies, Michael, Evan's brother, ends up catching him alone without his father nearby, and decides to play a dangerous prank.
Evan.
Just like that, the bite of 83 and Afton's death was caused by a spring lock system override, which activated all suit spring locks within a 100-foot radius, giving Henry his bittersweet revenge, and the game ends. A story about greed and revenge. A shitty friend whose jealousy made him destroy his other friend's life just because he could. This game has 3 endings. The bad ending, where you don't discover what's inside the box. The good ending, that is only possible if we collect notes scattered in specific parts of the game, where you hear Michael crying and asking for forgiveness to what was once his younger brother, who was now in a coma. Michael promises that he'll make everything right again. He will put Heaven back together, no matter how long it takes, and begs Evan to not leave him as well. And the true ending, that is only obtainable after completing the 2020 mode, revealing a brand new pizzeria with new animatronics. An open ending? Maybe a new game is on the way. I hope so, cause I had fun breaking down the story and playing the game itself. And if you also had fun watching, please like and subscribe, check out the main channel. Until next time, take care.